Hello, MMA community, my fellow YouTubers and friends and family out there, and patrons especially, who would be the only ones that would be seeing this video typically. But in the beginning, I wanted to give you guys all a chance to see what you guys would be getting in on if you were a patron. So take advantage of this. This is going to make you guys some money. If you look back at my last previous videos related to the UFC and my posts, I did post my entire betting slips for the whole world for free on my Twitter several days before the last event. And you saw I made a grand total of around 3,100, and to be exact, $3,100 on my total bets, and I cashed in over 13,000 some $100, over $13,000 out of $3,000. So I made over 10 times my return back on my investment. I'm sorry, I made $10,000 on top of my investment last week alone at just my regular casino, my local casino that's close to my house in Chicago. Anyways, so this week is going to be a better week, I would assume, because the odds are much nicer paying on this card. There are not too many heavy favorites on it, and I'm feeling great because we have been back to back weeks having perfect picks. Besides obviously the one that was a slight blemish, which would have been the Bobby Green fight, which everybody knows he was robbed blindly. I mean, the guy tripled in the total strikes. There was no advantages. Besides a submission attempt, which was 0-1, there was literally not one other advantage that Moises had when it came to control time, body strikes, head strikes, especially the most important thing. And I know from fighting, when my trainers and coaches used to tell me significant strikes are the key, the most important. The guy had more significant strikes by 3 times the amount. Anyways, we got robbed on one decision, big deal. And the only other wrong one I had in the entire last 6 months besides that was the Gamrot fight. The guy was undefeated he's a beast. I knew and he did win. That was another robbery. Even the guy who won that fight said, hey man, I lost the fight. I don't know what the judges saw. In this post-fight interview inside the stage, he said that I lost. He was the better man. This fight, I don't know what the judges saw. So 2 times I was wrong only was during robberies. So anyways, but my system, if you guys get my bet slips, you'll know this already. I'm prepared for that. I never put all my eggs in one basket, and even if we get 2 or 3 or 4 wrong, we're profiting if you just follow and duplicate my bet slips. That's why my patrons are getting that firsthand. They're getting that directly from me. As soon as I finish my slips early in the week, I get them to them about 6 or 7 days before the event starts, so that they get ahead of the line movements, which ends up saving you a lot more money, especially when you add it up after week, the difference between the lines on the day of the fight and the week before it. Anyways, today's segment is about the prop bets, the over-under rounds, the stuff that I noticed after the weigh-ins. This is a post-weigh-in confirmation, or if there was ever I do this segment so that if there's anything I ever notice, if there's ever something I notice that we need to hedge off of a fighter, if I notice somebody is limping or his weight cut was bad, or some additional news came my way that made me realize that we should have picked the other guy instead, I'll let you guys know in advance to hedge off of him so we don't lose money on that fight. Anyways, man, I'm so excited. And look, if you guys hate me, you hate my style, you hate my picks, which you're not happy with having a perfect week, or you're not happy with how I look, whatever. If you don't like me for anything else, like me for this segment, post weigh-ins. I say I'm going to be somebody that you guys want to dissect the brains of, because I was a fighter for many years, over 15 years of fighting experience with face-offs and stuff. I'm a face-off specialist, and if I'm good at anything, the thing that I'm the best at is noticing bodies. Like when I know when I want to fight before the fight started by looking that guy in the eyes. I know exactly what type of a fight it's going to be before I started my fight, just by body language, eye contact. The eyes are like the window to your soul. It tells you everything. And let me tell you what I found out this weigh-in. Oh man, did I see some stuff that was just like, oh, I've seen this a million times over, and it's always proved to be the same look, same type of look from the same type of people that prove themselves to be what I thought they were after I've seen these looks. All right, first one I want to start with is, here, where did my notes go? Sorry for the delay here. Okay, the one I want to touch on the most, Ian Heinrich and Brandon Allen. Okay, guys, let me tell you this. I already had my money on Allen. I was already going with Allen to be the favorite here. He should have been a bigger favorite in my opinion. The guy's a specialist in the ground. He's taking out people like what's his name? That was a minus 700, the biggest favorite by a landslide for last week's card. What's his name? Holland. Kevin Holland got submitted. This guy's on a tear. He goes through people besides Darren Stewart. I don't think he's even had a fight that was close in a long time. So he tears through people, and he even beat Darren Stewart. Annihilated him in the first, second round. He did like triple the numbers of Darren Stewart, and he's just so impressive. And Brandon Allen took him out. He didn't just beat him. He took him out. He submitted the guy. So very impressive guy. He's got other people under his belt, like what's his name? Damn it. Tom Breeze. He's got Breeze under his belt. This guy is getting better and better. He's still very young, but he's got experience with the youth to back it up. Usually you're either experienced and old, or you're young and inexperienced. This guy's got it all, man. He's going to be a danger he's a threat. He's going to be top 5, lingering around the top 3, top 5 for a long time. If not, eventually, you know, I can even see him, you know, fighting for the championship, and depending on who's holding the belt, eventually, maybe even a champion one day. So that's the guy you guys want to definitely, and here's what I noticed. Not only was he a bit of an advantage in size, the way he came in and just looked this guy in his eyes, as in like, hey, you're mine tonight or tomorrow night. And as a fighter, Ian Heinisch knew what he was looking at. That confidence, and like, there's a reason why, if you guys remember, what's his name, that famous boxer, De La Hoya, Oscar De La Hoya, anytime he used to go into the face-offs, and even before the fight started, when their referee would bring them together, and he used to look up to the sky. He would never make eye contact with his opponents, because he knew what type of a advantage and what type of a story it makes. So you cannot hide what's behind your eyes sometimes, especially against somebody who's experienced with making these type of judgments off of people that they face. Anyways, this guy Ian Heinisch broke. He broke already. He already lost the fight. That fight, half the battle is won. Brendan Allen has already won half the battle. He didn't even want to look him in his eyes. He was trying to look away. He even smirked. He gave him a smile. It wasn't even a smirk. It was more like a cheesy smile, like the one that your girlfriend would give you when she sees you bring her flowers, you know? Not a good sign. Ian Heinisch definitely has already lost half the battle. So that's a big tall tale right there I found. I noticed. And another one we were going to want to point out to you guys is, oh man, Claudia Gadelha does not look confident either. She doesn't look her normal, happy, mean, mugging type of self. Claudia Gadelha knows she's going to get beat, because numbers don't lie, man. Unless Xian comes in not herself, doing what she doesn't usually do and what she hasn't done in every last 10 of her fights, because she is on a 10-fight win streak. She's getting better and better. Her takedowns are awesome. Her takedown defense is awesome. Her output is awesome. Her significant strike, her accuracy, her powers, everywhere you go, this besides like on the ground submissions and that type of stuff, she does have a slight disadvantage against Claudia. But Claudia, if she doesn't put her out in the first round, she doesn't have the stamina to keep trying it with someone like this who's going to keep getting up and keep punishing her for trying and not being successful. Claudia will fade out. So this is one of those that you want to live bet on as well. Put your bets on it. Don't get me wrong. But also after the first round, when Claudia gave her 110% and knows that she had to try to get rid of her early as possible, or the 7 or 8 strikes per minute that this girl's been landing in her fights against decent opponents. The last 5 of her 10 win streaks have been in the UFC, mind you. She has fought decent competition. So anyways, she's landing double the output and taking less punishment, half the punishment as Claudia Gadelha has been in her fights. So she knows she's got to give it all. So after the first round, where it's going to kind of look like a back and forth good fight, the numbers are going to be moving crazy. She may even be an underdog after the first round. So put some heavy chalk on live betting, get with your casinos, switch over to a different sports book and see who does live betting. Make sure your casinos do live betting. Put money on Xian after the first round. Second thing I noticed, third thing I noticed, sorry. I'm going to go down in order. I don't want to be unorganized here. She also is bigger. She's going to be the stronger, longer, bigger person. Jan over Cladella. She's got better cardio. What else can I say about this? So that's a good safe bet right there. And she's paying great odds. It's almost a pick 'em, I would say, even. Anyways, Ian Allen, we did that one. He looked fierce, man. This guy, Brandon Allen, looked fierce. He's confident. He's looking bigger, better than ever. All right, and he broke him already mentally. What else? Okay, who did we make notes on? Arlovsky does not look in his usual good shape. He's a little bit heavier on this way, and he doesn't look. He looks more like with a dad body now, and he's just in the age right now where you've seen what happened to the last 40-something, last two 40-year-olds. Manhoff, he got annihilated. I told you guys to bet the under and get him by finish. Anderson was gonna take him out early. I gave you guys that at. I put the timestamp on when I predicted the under and by knockout for that fight, so it did cash in for us yesterday. Big money right there. And then also I wanted to mention that the thing that stood out to me the most, Bozer, who's on a nice win streak, who's got the momentum, who's younger, strong, hungrier, who knows he's got a chance, to rise in the rankings, and he's going to be in a contention for the belt eventually if he keeps this up. And this is like a slot that they kind of put him into. It's one of those things like they fed him somebody who they want him to make a name for himself. So he's fought people who are more of a threat to him, more dangerous, and he's put them away. This guy's got impressive knockouts. So I see this one going by knockout. But here's the other thing I noticed. The only thing that I was a bit concerned about when I found out this fight was made was Arlovsky has a tendency of making fights close because he knows how to get points. He knows how to win at scorecards. So it looks like he's winning more than he really is because he's a savvy veteran. This guy's been doing it he's the Bernard Hopkins of this sport, man. He's been doing it forever, and he's very witty. So he knows how to get the scorecards to go towards his way even when he's not winning fights. But in this case, he's not going to be because our guy Bozer, he's slendered down, man. He's looking in the best shape ever, and that's what he needs, because even as a bigger man, when he came in bigger, his output is great. He fights like a smaller guy because his cardio is great. He puts a lot of output, and that's the only chance that Arlovsky had in this fight is to outpoint him. And in this case, because now his only path to victory, Arlovsky, is going to be to knock this guy. And if he doesn't knock him out, which I don't see happening, he hasn't been knocking people out in a long time. And what was it, Travis Brown maybe? The last time I remember him knocking him out, and it was like Travis Brown just didn't take him seriously. Even back then, how many years ago, people were kind of like looking at him as washed up and as out of his prime, But now he's way beyond that expiration date. So this is the one that you want to fade. I would say he's a good fade for the week. Because Bozier is leaned down. That means his cardio is going to be better. His output's going to be better. And he knows, this guy's smart, man. He knows he's coming from a good team. They're telling him the only chance that this guy's going to be able to beat you is through outpointing you and outstriking you by numbers. Now he's coming in his best shape, the perfect shape, especially with Arlovsky coming in looking heavier and sloppier than I've seen him in the past. Put some money on Bozer, man. This is a safe parlay piece. He's a safe. I would even maybe look and see if it's worth it on the under or by finish prop bet on this one. So that's a good prop that you may want to look into. Another one I noticed would be Barcelos, man. This guy, he's like the dark horse of the division, if you ask me, man. If he was more active, if this guy was fighting more often, he'd be in the top 3 right now, top 5. This guy's a threat to every. Look who he's beat recently. He took the O from Said Nurmagomedov. Same last name as Khabib for a reason. He fights like none other. This guy's impressive. He's got the stand-up. He's got the ground game. And this guy beat him. Yeah, it was a close fight. But who else? Look what happened to the last opponent who was coming in with an 18-2 record with like 12 of his 18 wins by first-round submission. He was an Olympian. He was a judo black belt. Mark Striegel lost it in 30 seconds of the first round to Said Nurmagomedov. And this guy, Barcelos, beat him in a 3-round, outclassed him, outstruck him, beat him in the grappling, beat him in his feet, beat him on the ground, put him in, got out of dangerous positions that most wouldn't have got out of. This guy's impressive, and just unfortunately, I hate to say this because the guy he's fighting is born in Lebanon. He wore the Lebanese flag over his back, and my family, my sister has a Lebanese flag on her arm. My mom was born in Beirut, Lebanon, so our family is from Lebanon. We're half Lebanese, so he's one of my own people. And I hate to say this, but the guy's got no chance here, man. And that's why I think he's the biggest underdog of the night. He's got power in his hands. We're built strong. Don't get me wrong. He's got a puncher's chance, but this guy's proved himself to have a chin. If he's a boxer, this guy's not. Professional boxers will probably lose to this guy. That's how he's crisp and straight. I've been boxing for 13 years. I taught boxing. I taught about how to jab, how to move, this guy, his boxing is on a different level than a typical MMA fighter. He boxes in his footwork, his head movement, the way he manipulates his punches. You don't know when they're going to come, and the accuracy and where he lands them. He doesn't fight like an MMA fighter. He fights like a guy who came out of the boxing divisions and transitioned to MMA. But no, man, he's an MMA fighter too. He's a black belt. This guy got it all, man. This guy's the real deal. He's a real threat to anybody in that division. So put some heavy chalk on him. Against the nickname, I think his nickname, the Lebanese guy, is the Warrior. His full name, just in case, because I don't want you guys to get him mixed up with anybody, but because we got two Middle Easterns this card, two relatives of mine. Ramiz is the other Middle Eastern of the card, which I do have a lot of good things I want to talk about with that guy as well. But so yeah, we definitely got a little bit. Oh, the thing I wanted to mention about the Lebanese guy, he put up a front. Anytime somebody puffs up their chest, it's like that thing when somebody puffs up their chest and wants to look bigger than they are. It's usually a defense mechanism to try to, it's like when a cactus is scared and they put up their spikes. They're not putting up their spikes because they're trying to do it as an offensive thing to beat somebody up or to hurt somebody. They're doing it as a defensive thing because they're scared. They're doing it because they don't want to be hurt. The defense, he showed signs of that to me. And then also when he walked away, his thing immediately changed. He went from that confident, like mean mugging stare that he tried to use to make his opponent be fearful, and he immediately went to his real emotion, his real feelings, and it went from mean mugging, tough and puffing his chest to like he looked like he was sad, like he just like lost his fish just died. Or something or he lost his dog or puppy died or something. You know, he just looked sad. He looked like he knew he was going to be beat. I saw it in his look. He looked down. His eyes were, he's looking on the ground. He didn't look geeked up like his normal self. I've seen him usually look very jumpy and happy and bouncy. Not today. He knew his day was not going to be this week was not going to be his week. All right, who else? Elkins looked in great shape, confident, good shape, better than his normal self even. So I definitely like how Elkins looked against facing off against Gregory. And that guy's too green to be going against. I think they're finally giving Elkins like a gimme fight, like where we know we put you against death row, and you've been going through some beasts. And that guy, like I said, man, before, if he wasn't fighting top 3 or top 5 type of guys, like if he wasn't fighting the cream of the crop, the elite of the elite, this guy should be on a nice win streak, man. I mean, he looks like he's coming off a bad streak and whatever, but anytime he fights anybody, even in the higher top 10 or outside the top 10, especially outside the top 15, mismatch. This guy goes through them. He was like on a 10-fight win streak before he started fighting those other guys that they had to match him up with after doing so well. But I'm not worried about this fight. I see him in every place having the advantage. You know, in the grappling, he's going to be holding this guy against the cage. He's going to put him on the ground. He's going to be level changing on him. It's just going to be too experienced, too witty, and too gritty for the guy. The guy's never seen anything like this guy in his entire career. He's never fought anybody close to this level, so it's a big step up too fast, too soon for him, I think. But it's a good learning experience. I mean, the guy's not too bad. I'm sure he'll learn from it. He'll come back and do better on his next fight. Hopefully they give him somebody more closer to his level. All right. And Giga Chikadze looked great. Giga Chikadze. Sorry, I have trouble with that guy's name all the time. Bigger, way bigger and better, stronger looking, and just way more experienced. And this is a big mismatch if I've ever seen one. One of the biggest mismatches of the entire card. I have seen no paths of victory for James Cross, who's got a 7-2 record, and just, you know, I just don't understand this match, why they put this guy in the ring with him. It makes no sense at all to me. So another fade of the week is James Cross Simmons. Not the other James Cross that you guys saw. He fought Hannibal Silva. This is a different one. All right, what else can I think? Oh, Bevin Lewis looked pretty good. Pretty good. Not his best, I think, but good enough. Trevin Giles didn't look good. He looks like somebody who's not taking this career full serious. I mean, he's got another job that he takes more serious. He's admit to that. He's a police officer full time, and he's even said that I don't get enough time in the gym. I know my opponents put more time in the gym than I do, and I wish I could train more than I do, but I don't have the ability, especially with all that's going on around the world right now, the craziness, madness happening around the world, that his job is more important than ever right now, and they need him. So he puts more hours and dedicates more of his time, and he's more invested into that career than this one, unfortunately. So I don't see him being able to get away. I think the odds are really off here. Look what this guy was doing, Bevin Lewis was doing to Uriah Hall before he got knocked out towards the end of the fight. He was winning that fight decisively, man. And we've seen Uriah Hall, besides his last fight, they were calling him the new Anderson Silva. Besides against the real Anderson Silva, Uriah Hall looked impressive, man. And was doing comes from a great gym as well. So I definitely would want to put some good money on my man. And a lot of people, I make a lot of other people with podcasts that I noticed I'm going with Trevin Giles. I think I'm one of the very few people that are betting on Bevin Lewis. I don't know why, but that's my pick for that fight. And he looked pretty good. He looked better, bigger. He's got a nice reach advantage. He'll know how to use it as well. He's the better wrestler. He's just the better version of Giles. In every area, he's better at. Even striking, a lot of people think that Giles is going to be the better striker, better boxer. I mean, maybe, but he's going to be close to him in some of the exchanges. But overall, when you incorporate all the other advantages that Lewis has, it's not going to be that type of a fight. So it's not going to just be strictly, in the middle of the cage exchanging boxing. It's not a boxing match, so that won't hold any water. Okay, what else can we do here? Did I notice anything else? I kind of missed the Gustavo Lopez, Anthony Burchak. I couldn't really find that face off, but they looked from what a little bit of a glimpse. I think from what I did see of it, they looked pretty similar in every area. It was hard to get any read off of that fight, but it's being a last minute thing. This is not something that you want to put in any parlays. You can maybe put a straight bet. I would give Burchak is a submission specialist, but I think Gustavo's wrestling is going to be good enough to kind of keep it on the feet for a longer time. I did notice the over on this is paying plus money, so you may want to look into that, putting the over 1.5 or 2.5 on the Gustavo Lopez fight. That's paying good money. Another one I noticed is paying good money was the under for the Andre Arlovsky Tanner Bozer fight. That's a good prop bet. You want to maybe look into the under on that one. Bozer's got some impressive knockouts, and Arlovsky's been chinny in the past. If he gets hit, I do see him going down here. Another one, because they're two gritty guys, they're two very strong, durable guys. Maybe I think the Barcelos and Kalita on the over is paying pretty well. The odd makers, I think, are expecting this to be an early night for those two, and I don't really see that possibly happening. So I see it going maybe on the over. I think that's paying plus money. The Brendan Allen, I think, is paying very good money for the under. If he could submit a guy like Kevin Holland, who's a black belt, I think he even put away Brees pretty damn early. So I can see this one going out. I think that's paying good money for the Brendan Allen Ian Heinisch fight, going on the under. The Jan and Claudia Gadelha, definitely can see that one going over. I think that's paying pretty good money as well. The Giga Chikadze, I don't know what that one's paying. It's a newer fight kind of, so I would probably go with the under on that one. I don't like to put money on the unders when they're 1.5 though, because anything can happen and things can get delayed and postponed. So if it's 2.5, I definitely would be more comfortable there. Marco De Lima and Alexander Romanov. If you guys look at the straight, I like that face-off as well. Romanov looked a nice size, bigger than Lima, and taller, longer, and he's super freakish strength, very athletic, and he knows how to put away fights early. He's not the type to fall asleep on somebody just to get control time. As soon as he goes to the ground, he's going to try to put this guy away, so I may want to look into the under on that one. Darren Elkins, sturdy guy. You cannot put that guy away unless you hit him with a hammer over and over. And so I could probably see that one going on the over. And here's the one that I'm going to give you like a somewhat of a hedge. I do like Ramiz against Griffin. He's the pretty big underdog in this fight. Slight underdog, more than a slight underdog, I would say, but not too big of an underdog. I would definitely give him a good chance. He's finished 8 of his wins, 100% of them by submission. He's got a 100% finish rate. All 8 of his wins out of 10 fights have gone like almost in the first or second round, all of them early on. So I do see if in case he couldn't get him out in the first round, I do definitely know that he'll probably win the first round for sure. He's a good size, strong. I think he's the stronger, bigger guy slightly than Griffin. And Griffin is coming off like I think his last 4 out of 5, he has not looked too impressive. He's kind of like on the downhill. He's not showing any signs of improvement, while Ramiz is hungry, man. This guy's been itching to get into the UFC. He's going to give his best performance. And I don't think I think he's only like a brown belt or maybe a blue belt even. But just he's on a high level of submissions because of his strength. He knows. The thing is he may not be the best submission specialist, but he's excellent. He's the best at getting into it, like opening. He doesn't wait for something to happen. He makes it happen. He knows how to strike and beat the crap out of the guy until he lets his hands go and puts his neck up. And he knows how to make things open up for him, which makes it look like he's a better, more technical specialist than he actually is, which is all that matters, man. As long whatever works for you, you know. So I can see this going in the first round, but if it doesn't, you may want to hedge the bet because his cardio isn't the best unless he's worked on it, which he may have. We don't know. We haven't seen him in a while. He took a little bit of time off, so we don't know which kind of shape he'll be in exactly. This is a type of a gamble, kind of. So don't take. This is one of those that you don't want to hedge. You can either put a straight bet, and if you do put a straight bet, you can hedge your straight bet by betting on the. If it does go beyond the first round, you could probably hedge your bet and put some money, especially because at that point he would have gotten beat up so bad in the first round and then makes his comeback. You can put some money on Griffin as a live bet. That's a good way to do that. Hedging, but that's not necessary. If you just do a straight bet and he wins in the first round, you can make some good money on the underdog Brahimaj. All right, nothing else really popped up. Any questions or concerns, leave it in a comment. I'll get back to you. Please hit the like, hit the subscribe. Remember, all you got to do is be a Patreon member of my Patreon, and you will get access to all these exactly, because you can have all the right picks, but if you don't know how to implement them in the betting system that's going to work with the right combinations, the right parlays, the right amounts, the variations, the dominations, all correctly, and I've mastered it. It took me a long time to do it, but a lot of science behind it, a lot of beautiful madness has a system behind it, believe it or not. So I've perfected it. That's why I've never had even a week that I was close to losing money. It's just a matter of how much did I make this week. That's the only thing you'll ever ask is, hey, Joe Dog, did you make 10 times your money or 5 times your money this week? That's the only question you'll ever be able to ask me from now on, because my system is perfect. Unless I went from being the guy who gets none wrong, or maybe 1 or 2 wrong because of some weird flukes or robberies, to being the guy who gets more than half wrong, that's the only way I won't make a killing. So join the Patreon so you can get my bet slips and just go to the casino. What everybody does is just say, hey, casino teller, I want you to duplicate this exact ticket, please. Exactly how this guy has it. And they do it, or you could do it yourselves if you have a online bookie or however you do it. But easy as 1, 2, 3, man. You don't got to get creative. You don't got to put no brains cells into it. Just duplicate it. Copy what I'm giving you. And I'm opening the lines of communication. As a Patreon, you get to communicate, ask questions, and immediately get responses, man. There's a big financial benefit to being in there. It'll pay itself off within the first hour on your first bet of the night. So thank you guys, and you're grandfathered in. As soon as you get to the thing, I'm never going to raise them on you when later on people start to see the value in it. All right, guys, thank you for your time. God bless. Stay safe, and good luck on the